Hello everyone, welcome to Electrical Pathshala 2. In this video, we will study about active, reactive and apparent power. As an electrical engineer, it is very important to have the knowledge of active, reactive and apparent power. But many students have confusion related to this topic. If you are one of them, then I will recommend you to watch this video till the very end. So let's start. So guys, we talk about active, reactive and apparent power in the case of AC circuits only, not in the case of DC circuit, because in the case of AC circuit, the voltage and current waveforms are sinusoidal. That's why we will talk about active, reactive and apparent power in the case of AC circuits only, not in the case of DC circuit. In the case of DC circuit, we talk about DC power. So moving on, before studying active, reactive and apparent power, we should know what is instantaneous power. So what is instantaneous power? The power which is measured at a particular instant of time is known as instantaneous power, or we can also say that the multiplication of voltage and current at a particular instant of time is known as instantaneous power. So to understand this, let's take the example. Let's take an example. Suppose this is a waveform of a system. In this waveform, this blue waveform is showing the voltage waveform. This pink waveform is showing the current waveform, whereas this green waveform is showing the power waveform. Now in this waveform, if we measure the power at a particular instant t1, so this is called as instantaneous power. Now at t1 instant, we can measure the power P1, which will be multiplication of V1 into I1. Now you can see in the waveform that V1 is positive while the I1 is negative. So V1 is positive while I1 is negative. Therefore, the multiplication V1 into I1 will be negative and the power is negative. As you can see here in this waveform, the power P1 is negative. Now at some another instant T2, at instant T2 here, what will be instantaneous power P2? V2 multiplied by I2. Now this V2, you can see in the waveform that at instant T2, voltage V2 is positive. So voltage V2 is positive and current I2 is also positive. Therefore the multiplication of these two will be positive, and you can see here that power is also positive. So what does this mean? It means that instantaneous power is positive and negative as well, and you can see here in the waveform also that power waveform is positive and negative as well. So we can say finally that instantaneous power can be positive and negative as well. Now most of you must be wondering that what is negative power, how power can be negative. So let's see that. So guys, power can be positive and negative as well. When we say that power is positive, when we say that, so when power flows from the source to the load, in this condition we say that power is positive. Okay, now in some situation, in some cases, power can flow from the load to the source. Now in this case we say that power is negative. This negative power comes into the picture in the case of inductive loads, capacitive load, or or if there is some non-linear device in this circuit, then this negative power comes into the picture. Now I hope you understand the concept of negative power. Now moving forward, our next topic is active power. So guys, to understand the concept of active power, let's take the example of a purely resistive load. You can see in this circuit that this is the circuit diagram of a purely resistive load which is being supplied by an AC source having a voltage V and the current in the circuit is I. Now what happens in the case of a purely resistive load, that the voltage and current remains in the same phase. Now you can see in this phasor diagram that voltage and current both are in same phase. Therefore the phase angle between them is equals to 0 degree. Now this is the waveform of a purely resistive circuit. Now in this waveform, again this blue waveform is showing the voltage waveform. Now this red is showing current waveform and green is showing power waveform. Now in this waveform, again we will measure instantaneous power. So at instant t1, power P1 will be given by V1 into I1. Now you can see here that V1 is positive and I1 is positive as well. Both of them are positive. Therefore P1 will be positive. Similarly at instant t2, we will again measure instantaneous power which is P2, which will be multiplication of V2 into I2. Now you can see here that V2 is negative and I2 is negative as well. Both are negative, and so the multiplication, the product will be positive. Now what does this suggest? This suggests that all the time, wherever you measure the power, at each and every instant of time, instantaneous power will always be positive. Now this type of power known as active power. Now guys, in case of purely resistive load, as I have told you earlier, that both voltage and current remains in same phase. What does this mean? It means that both the voltage and current waveform will reach its positive peak, their negative peak, and both will cross the zero value at the same time. Then we say that both voltage and current waveform are in same phase. Now guys, in this case we see that the power is positive at each and every instant of time. It means that power is flowing from the source to the load every time, at each and every instant of time, and this type of power is known as active power. So let's now see what are the properties of active power. So guys, active power, first of all, active power is always positive. Okay, now second, that active power does not change its direction. As you can see here in this waveform, that active power is always positive. It is not changing its direction. It is not going in the negative direction. It is always positive. That's why active power does not change its direction. Now active power is positive. What does this mean? It means that power flow is always from the source to the load. Now the next point is, active power is responsible for useful work. What is useful work? Like light, speed, motion, heat. This kind of useful work is done by active power only. Now active power is represented by capital letter P, and it is measured in watts. So the unit of the active power is watts. So active power is given by relation P is equals to VI cos phi. So this is the relation by which active power is given. P is equals to VI cos phi. We will see this later in this video. So here this phi is the phase difference between voltage and current. Finally, in the case of purely resistive load, as we know that in the case of purely resistive load, both V and I are in same phase. Therefore phi is equals to 0 degree. So P is equals to VI cos 0 degree, and cos 0 you know is 1. Therefore, in the case of purely resistive load, active power is VI watts. Now moving forward, the next topic is reactive power. So, to understand reactive power, to understand the concept of reactive power, let's take the example of a purely inductive load. So this is the circuit diagram of a purely inductive load, which is being supplied by an AC source having voltage V, and the current in the circuit is I. Now in case of purely inductive load, the current lags the supply voltage exactly by 90 degree. It means, as you can see in this phasor diagram, that I lags the voltage V by 90 degree. What does this mean? It means that current will reach its positive peak, negative peak, and zero value 90 degree after the voltage waveform. And this is the waveform for purely inductive load. In this waveform, blue line is voltage waveform, red is current waveform, and green is power waveform. Now in this waveform you can verify this fact that this current waveform is reaching its positive peak, negative peak, and crossing zero value 90 degree after the voltage waveform. Therefore the phase difference between the voltage and current is 90 degree. Now in this waveform also we will measure instantaneous power at various instances. Now at this instant T1, we will measure instantaneous power P1, which will be the multiplication of V1 and I1 at that particular instant. Now here we can see that V1 is positive, so V1 is positive, I1 is negative, and the product will be negative. You can also see this in this waveform, that product of this V and I is negative, and our instantaneous power P1 at instant T1 is negative. Okay, now at some other instant T2, the instantaneous power will be P2, which will be the multiplication of V2 into I2 at that instant T2. Now this here T2, so V2 is negative and I2 is also negative. Both of them are negative. Therefore the product will be positive. And you can see here in the waveforms that the instantaneous power at this very instant T2 is positive. So you can measure instantaneous power at other instances, and hence we will draw the power waveform. Now in this waveform we can see that the power is positive and negative as well. What does this mean? It means that power is going forward from source to the load and coming backward from load to the source in the circuit, exactly like a pendulum, without doing any useful work. This type of power is known as reactive power. And one other thing is that in this waveform you can see that the magnitude of positive power and negative power are exactly same. Therefore the average power that we will get out of this system will be zero. So now let's see what happens in the case of a purely capacitive load. So this is the circuit diagram of purely capacitive load, and in case of purely capacitive load, the load current leads the supply voltage by 90 degree, as you can see in this phasor diagram. What does this mean? It means that the current waveform will reach its positive peak, negative peak, and cross its zero value 90 degree before the voltage waveform. So in this waveform you can verify this fact. Now you can see in this waveform again you can measure instantaneous power at various instances, and then you will get your power waveform, which is being shown by the green color. Now in this waveform we can see here that the power is again positive and negative as well. It means that it is oscillating between the source and the load, going back and forth in the system. This type of power is known as reactive power. Now in this waveform also you can see here that the magnitude of positive and negative power are exactly same. Therefore the average power that we will get out of this system will be zero. So this was your reactive power. Now you must be thinking that why this power is going back and forth in the circuit in the case of capacitive and inductive load. So let's see that why this happens. So guys, what happens in the case, first of all we will see the case of a capacitive load. So what happens in the case of a capacitive load, that during the positive half cycle of the power, this capacitor will store the energy in the form of electric field, because you know that a capacitor stores energy in the form of electric field. So this will store the energy in the form of electric field during the positive half cycle of the power. Now during the negative half cycle, this electric field will collapse, and whatever energy is stored in this capacitor will be released, and and the power will flow from the load to the source, and hence we get a negative power. Hence we get this power, negative power. Similarly, what happens in the case of an inductive load? So during the positive half cycle, this inductor will store the energy in the form of magnetic field, because we know that inductor stores energy in the form of magnetic field only. So this inductor will store energy in the form of magnetic field during the positive half cycle. Now during the negative half cycle, this magnetic field will collapse, and the energy, whatever energy is stored in this inductor, will be released back to the source, and hence the power will start flowing from the load to the source, and we will get a negative power. So in this way the power is going back and forth between the load and the source. So you know now why power flows back and forth. So finally let's see the properties of reactive power. What are the properties? So first of all, reactive power is positive as well as negative. We saw that reactive power oscillates between source and load exactly like a pendulum without doing any useful work. So reactive power is denoted by capital letter Q and is measured in VARs. So unit of the reactive power is VARs. What is this VAR? This VAR is volt ampere reactive, or simply reactive volt amperes. Now next point is reactive power is induced in the circuit by non-linear devices like capacitor, inductor. So whenever there is a capacitive load or inductive load or some other non-linear devices in the circuit, then there will reactive power will be induced. Reactive power is given by the expression Q is equals to VI sin phi. This expression we will see later. So this phi here is phase angle between current, voltage and current. Finally, in the case of purely inductive and capacitive load, as we know that phase angle between V and I is 90 degree. Therefore, Q is equals to VI sin 90, and sin 90 you know is 1. Therefore, Q is equals to VI VARs. So guys, till now whatever cases we have seen like purely resistive, purely inductive, purely capacitive are the standard cases, but in reality most of the loads that we use in our daily life are the combination of inductive and resistive load. Some of them might also be the combination of resistive plus capacitive load, but most of the loads that we use in our daily life are the mixture of resistive plus inductive load. So this is the circuit diagram of a general load that we use in our daily life. So in this diagram you can see that the load is the mixture of resistive plus inductive load. Now what happens in this circuit is that the resistive component of the load consumes the active power, whereas the inductive component of the load consumes the reactive power. Therefore, the total power delivered by the source to the load is the combination of active power and reactive power, and this power is known as our apparent power. Now this is the phasor diagram of this circuit. You know that in the case of inductive load, the current lags the voltage exactly by 90 degree, but as this load is the mixture of resistive plus inductive load, therefore current will lag the voltage not by 90 degree but by some angle phi. So current lags the supply voltage by angle phi, and this is the waveform for this circuit. Now in this waveform again we will measure instantaneous power at various instanted. You know how to measure that. Now this blue color is showing the voltage waveform, red color is current waveform, and the green color is showing the power waveform. In this waveform also, in the power waveform, you can see here that power is positive and negative as well, but you can also see here that the magnitude of positive power is greater than the negative power. Therefore we will get some power out of this system. The average power will not be zero in this case. So this is our power waveform, and it is the combination of active and reactive power. I hope you understand. Now let's see the key points related to apparent power. So guys, apparent power is the combination of active power and reactive power. We know that. And apparent power is denoted by capital letter S. Apparent power is measured in volt amperes or kilovolt amperes or megavolt amperes. So the unit of the apparent power is VA, volt amperes. Next is that apparent power is given by a relation S is equals to V multiplied by I. Simply S is equals to V into I. Now if the value of P and Q is known, it means that if the value of active power and reactive power is given in the question, then we can calculate the value of apparent power by this relation. S square is equals to P square plus Q square. This relation comes from the power triangle. So what is power triangle? Our next topic is power triangle, which means that power triangle is a right angle triangle which shows the relationship among active power, reactive power and apparent power. The sides of the power triangle is a right angle triangle, and the sides of the power triangle, which is hypotenuse, base and normal, represents apparent power, active power and reactive power respectively. Now let's draw our power triangle. So to draw the power triangle, you remember the phasor diagram of the load, which is the combination of resistive plus reactive, resistive plus inductive load. So this is the phasor diagram in which we know that the current lags the voltage by some angle phi. Now we will resolve this current in two components. First component will be in phase with the supply voltage, and this component is our I cos phi, and the second component is 90 degree out of phase from the supply voltage V, which is I sin phi. Now this I cos phi is known as active or wattful component of load current, whereas this I sin phi, which is the 90 degree out of phase from the supply voltage, is known as reactive or wattless component of load current. So let's draw the power triangle. So to draw the power triangle, first of all, let's draw this current triangle. This side is I cos phi, and this is the side I sin phi, which is 90 degree from this I cos phi, and this is our total load current I, this side. Now multiplying each side with supply voltage V. So what we will get? V into I cos phi. Similarly here V multiply by I sin phi, and here V multiply by I. So this Vi cos phi will become our active power, which is denoted by P and measured in watts. This Vi sin phi will become our reactive power, which is being denoted by Q and measured in vars. And this V into I is our apparent power, which is being denoted by S and measured in volt ampere. So this triangle which is showing the relationship among active, reactive and apparent power is known as our power triangle. This triangle is known as our power triangle. The base represents the active power P, the normal represents the reactive power Q, and the hypotenuse represents the apparent power S. And from this right angle triangle we get a relationship which is S square is equals to P square plus Q square. From this triangle we get this relationship. Now this power triangle can also be obtained from impedance triangle. You know what is impedance triangle? So in case of a combination of resistive plus inductive load, the impedance triangle is given by, this is R, normal to this R is our reactance X, and this is the total impedance of the circuit Z. Now multiplying each side by I square. We will multiply each side of this triangle by I square. So what we will get? I square into R, I square into X, and I square into Z. So this I square R, what is this? This is your active power P. I square X, what is this? Reactive power Q. And this I square into Z is your apparent power S. And hence we will get our power triangle. So again, so hence we got our power triangle from the impedance triangle. This is our impedance triangle. So guys, this was all about this video. I hope all of your confusions are clear now. If you like this video, then please hit the like button, share this video with your friends. We will give written material of this video in our website www.electricalpathshala.com. So please visit our website. All the links is given in the description below. So that's all from for this video. See you in the next video. Signing off.